Hello and welcome to Programming the Lazy Way, a sequence of short videos for beginning programmers. Today I want to tell you how to write functions painlessly and in a way that will make the function useful, or reuseful that is, one you can use again and again without rewriting it. Now I'm going to assume that you've seen the previous video, The Best Tip for Being Lazy, which is algorithms. If not, I'd say stop and watch that first. There's a link below on this page. So let's say you're going to write a function to return the maximum of 3 numbers. Yeah, I know it's a challenge. Well, we'll keep it simple. First, right here underneath main, we'll put this down. A comment to explain what we're doing, the name of the function, the parens, the curly braces, and if it's something that's going to return a value, then declare result, return result, and make sure there's a return type. We'll fill that in just a moment. Now, if it's not going to return anything, you can skip all the return type stuff, and it's pretty simple. We need to decide what the return type is. I said return the largest of 3 numbers. I think double is pretty generally useful, so I'll use that. And in the case of the void function, we don't do anything with that, of course. Third, what information will the function need before it gets started? Now, let's say you're the function and I'm calling you and I say, give me the greatest of 3 numbers. What are you going to say? You're going to say, what numbers? So that is what you will need to get started, 3 numbers. So they go between the parentheses along with whatever types those values are going to have. Now the fourth question is, how's the function going to do its work? This is where you put the algorithm right inside the function you're writing as comments, like in the previous video, and then you refine it until it's valid code, keeping possibly the algorithm itself as comments, just as in the previous video. When you've done that, you got your function. Now, how we're going to call it? There's a little bit more work to do there. I want to take this top line here and the comment, make a copy of it, put it up above main, and put a semicolon at the end. So main and any other functions, since this is at the top of the program, any other functions, if you refer to max, it will know what you mean by max. To call it, you refer to it and give it the appropriate number of appropriate values, and then you do something with whatever it is if it's a value returning function. But this would not be the thing to do. I call the function and it goes down and it does its stuff. It's just that when it's done, I didn't tell it to do anything with the result, so it doesn't really accomplish anything. Now this is something else that we would not want to do. If you're going to pass in 3 values, they can be literal numeric values or whatever kind of values, or they can be variables, but you can't redeclare the variables inside the function call. If you put type information here, then the compiler thinks, oh, okay, I know what this is. I've seen something like this. I know what it is. It's a function prototype. And it won't object, but it won't call it either, because as far as it's concerned, you didn't tell it to call the function. You just said there's a function named max that takes 3 doubles and returns a double. So where does the function here get its values for A, B, and C? Right here. Whenever you call it, that's when you provide it with those values. For that reason, we wouldn't want to do something like reset the values inside the function. Because if I do that, then I've lost my 2 and my 3 and my 5 here, and I can't take the max of 2, 3, 5. It's going to be these values every time. Another thing I definitely wouldn't want to do is ask the user to reset the values, because once again, I've lost my 2, my 3, and my 5, and I've also annoyed the user who probably doesn't want to answer these questions every time. But with the correct version, I've now got a function that'll work for any 3 arguments of the right type that I care to give it. Just like those built-in functions, sine, square root, whatever, that come with the system, you can use this again and again without rewriting it, and that is definitely the lazy way. So leave your comments below, and remember to stay lazy.